everybody. Welcome to today's podcast episode. I'm so glad you're joining me and my new friend, Emma. We are going to be talking about the 3 content pillars to create deeper connection with your audience. I'm so excited to have you on, Emma. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And we met literally a couple days ago in a Facebook group. Emma was like, who's got a podcast? Let's talk. I'm like, hey girl, what's up? And here we are.
I love it.
It was meant to be. We have very similar missions and I'm all about it. So before we get into our topic today, Emma, please introduce yourself and your business.
Absolutely. So I'm Emma. I'm the founder of 95 Media. We are a digital marketing agency that works with scaling brands to really help them build out strategic marketing that allows them to monetize and build their online presence. I got started in digital marketing back in 2015 when no one was really doing this. It was a foreign concept for most of us who were just posting sunset photos and pictures of our dinner that looked terrible and disgusting. But at the time I was in college and I was just absolutely fascinated by this new world that I really saw so much potential in. And it was crazy to me that brands really weren't seeing it yet. And so I started taking on some clients while I was in school. I was actually in school for interior design, thinking that that's the life path I was going to go down. And that did not pan out the way I thought it would be, because during COVID, the design world was really kind of not doing well and digital marketing was exploding. And so in 2020, I went full-time into 95 Media. And since then, we have built our team to a team of 8. We are, we've worked with over 25 different industries, and we are just, absolutely loving being able to serve our clients and help them grow online.
I love everything about that. There's so many good things in there that we're going to break apart here in a second. One thing that we were talking about before we hit record was that you had started out going to school for interior design. For those of you that don't know, I've come from a background in performing arts. I went to school for it. I have a degree in fine arts, singing, musical theater, and neither one of us are doing either one of the things, but it wasn't necessarily like a bummer, because I think it sounds like you stepped into digital marketing really excited, gung-ho, but also not necessarily knowing a ton of it, but that didn't seem to really hold you back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a learner. I am a forever student. I am one of those people that just constantly wants to learn. And I'm very intentional about everything I do.
Yeah.
And so when I was working in interior design, at the time I was commuting into Manhattan for my job, and I had a 2-hour commute each way. So I was commuting for 4 hours every single day. And I sat on that train and I was like, okay, well, this sucks. We're going to use this time to figure out what the heck we want to do with our life, because this can't be it. This can't be what I've been working so hard for. I landed my dream job, but even working my dream job, I literally couldn't afford to live in New York City because of, rent is so high and salaries are not that high. And so I used that time working what I thought was my dream job to learn everything I needed to learn about building a company, about really taking what I knew. And it was the only other industry that I knew anything in, because I had just been doing this on the side, working for a few $100s here and there for some clients. And so I didn't know it. I wasn't trained in it. But I think that in any industry, learning by fire, learning on the job is the best and honestly one of the only ways to really learn what you need to know.
Right. Because you love it that much more. Honestly, a woman after my own heart. I love that you're like, okay, how can I utilize this time? These are my circumstances. This is what I'm going to do. I tell you what, every time I either go for a walk, even if it's a 10-minute drive, less than 10 minutes, I'm like, podcast, where it's at, Audible, where are we listening to today?
Absolutely.
How can we make the most of this time? I think they call it the habit stacking, but I would see it mostly as multitasking. I'll be doing my makeup, recording something with that B-roll or something, but I'm listening to a training from my business coach in the background. So I just love that you were like, that's not going to hold me back. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to build me an empire of some kind. How did you then land in the space of management? Because that's really what your agency specializes in, is management, done for you services in the management space.
Yeah, it really was organic. Everything about this has been so organic and kind of just well, this is what we're doing now. Okay, we'll figure it out. And I started doing social media in 2015. The first time I was, dipped my toes into it, it was because I was at an internship and the person I was working for wanted to start using Instagram to sign more clients for her design business. And I was like, we can do that? Like, what's going on here? That's so cool. And so I was, creating content for her, engaging with her audience. So that was the first time I really figured out, but she didn't know what I should be doing. I didn't know what I should be doing. I was, listening to podcasts, Googling and figuring it all out. Then when I was doing it on the side, especially as I started realizing like, okay, this is a viable option. Like this is actually a career that people are doing. It's not even an industry yet, but people are doing it. And this seems really cool. So I literally just started going up to people and being like, hey, your Instagram kind of sucks. Like I could make it a lot better. And I loved it because
hey, friend to friend, this is not a good choice.
No. And honestly, like one of the first times I did that was because I was at an event. The interior design world is very like event heavy. And there's a lot of like, after work, you go to do drinks. And I was at a cocktail event. It was like a cocktail making event with this really amazing company run by two guys in Manhattan. And they had such a cool concept. And I was loving being at the event, like as a consumer. Yeah. And so obviously everyone's on their phone at the event. This is like maybe 2018. And we're all like Instagram storying it. And I go to their Instagram and I'm like, oh no, this is embarrassing.
Oh man.
And it was the founder who was leading the event. And so afterwards I went up to him and I was like, listen, like, I really wanted, like, I tagged you and I love what you're doing, but like, there's so much opportunity here. Like you are in a visual industry, you are performing essentially, like, let's get this up on social. Right. And they were one of my first clients who we did like full management work for. And I loved that phase of business. And I actually think about it all the time today, because when you have no like skin in the game and you have no pressure, it's like, I don't need to sign this client to, pay my team or pay my bills. It's like, I'm just doing it because I genuinely love it and I want to help. And that's at the core of so many of us entrepreneurs. Like, you get into business because you want to serve, and then it becomes so much bigger and you don't realize that transition of, okay, when did this become something that we're doing because it's a job rather than doing because we just had this burning passion inside of us.
Totally. I love how bold you were, probably still are. I'm sure that boldness has like just gotten even bolder, but I love how bold you were, because I've actually done the same thing. And it was a friend who's now my client, still friend, who's in my mastermind. And I was like, listen, the same exact message. So I love that you just took that chance and you said, I love what you're doing here and I want to help make this better. I think way more of us need to be taking that leap. So I'm so glad you shared that. That's so good. Okay. So let's get into these 3 content pillars. I'm so interested in this to create that deep connection. So give it to us straight. What is content pillar number 1? Actually, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. This deep connection, you're talking about deep connection with your current clients, or you're talking about the people that we are trying to make clients, that we are trying to bring into our business and our world?
I look at content pillars as they're the base of your content when you're speaking anytime on social, anytime in your marketing. So that could be social, that could be email, that could be text message marketing. Sure. And it's really those pillars that guide how you're creating content. And mainly, a lot of us are looking to reach new people, right? You are building the social presence so that you can get in front of a larger audience, you can get in front of new eyeballs, increase your reach, and then bring them into your space and eventually convert them into sales. Right. So there's 2 kind of ways I look at content pillars. There's your custom content pillars, and that might be very like unique to your brand and really go into your brand mission and your values and how you want to portray and support your audience. And then there's the brand, like the content buckets and pillars that we're going to talk about, which I look at as kind of more overarching in terms of content types. A lot of businesses forget that there's so many different ways to give content. And I see a lot of brands get stuck in, I'm just giving education, I'm just sharing tips. And there's really so many other ways you could talk to your audience.
Yeah. I like that you've kind of broken them apart into the overarching, but then the custom, because I think we focus so much on the custom part, which is still very important, but the overarching that you're talking about, I think it just kind of falls by the wayside, or people don't even know that that is something that exists. Okay. So give it to us straight. First content pillar, lay it on us.
So the first one is education. It's the one that we're all familiar with. That might be like 5 tips to do X, Y, and Z, or 3 ways to improve this aspect. And there's a lot of ways you can do education. And, you could do carousel, you could do a reel, you could do a B-roll and then just text on top for a reel. And they're very, like, they're a great great piece of content. They're needed. They have to be there. They show your authority in your space, and they show your audience everything that you know and ways you can help them.
Yeah.
But again, it's important to not get stuck in only doing education, because that doesn't speak to the experience of your audience and truly why they're going to hire you. So where that comes in is validation. So validating content is when you're speaking to your audience and you're speaking to their experience before, during, and after working with you.
Okay.
And this is the type of content where I see a lot of businesses actually just completely skip this one because they don't realize how important it is.
Yeah.
But it's even more important than, you want to always make your clients, your buyer, the center of your content. You want to showcase results. You want to showcase transformation. But there's a big difference between doing a before and after versus a before and after paired with the story of that client and where were they before? What were those struggles and pain points they were facing? How did you come in, solve them for them? And then where are they now?
Yeah.
So that's one way to do validating content. Another way is to just say, I see you where you are now. Maybe you've been in their shoes. Maybe you're helping someone who's going through something that you once went through, or it's a common struggle that we all have. And you can speak to saying, it's okay that you're here. I validate this experience you're in, but I also give you permission to no longer stay there, and that, support is available. You can leave and get to a better place.
Right. The empathy piece is like so good. I would even say it's almost crucial. And I think that's why a lot of us end up going into business is we figured out something for ourselves. We're like, hold on, why don't other people know about this? Or it kind of goes back to the owner or the event coordinator the person hosting it, bringing that to life. I fully believe that all of us are called to do something here on this earth, our time here, but we are shown things, day to day, month to month, year to year, aren't necessarily just appearing to us, but we are seeing them for a reason. So I'm sure somebody's been in some situation where like, did you happen to notice XYZ? And someone's like, no, there is a reason though that you noticed it, because you're supposed to either do something about it or make a change about it. So I really like that piece, and that the empathy portion, or the validating, like, I see you, I understand, and I've actually been there too. Oh my gosh, it like builds trust so much. And I really like speaking to not just the before and after, but like, what's all the middle? The middle stuff is like the good stuff. I'm already thinking about food. How did I go here? How did I go from the middle stuff? I'm just thinking like, nobody just wants the outside of one of those like cream filled, I think they're called ho-hos. I haven't had one in forever, but all of a sudden now I want one. Okay, pregnancy brain, let's chill. But like, nobody just wants the outside. They want the middle too, because it completes the whole thing. So sorry, we just went off on a food tangent somehow, but there's Mandy's brain right now.
I love it. I love it. No, it's so true. Like we oftentimes skip that middle portion. And it's such a great point, because I've been talking a lot on my platforms recently about documenting the journey, and the journey, like even as entrepreneurs, your journey is that middle. And it's so important to talk about. And we forget, and we think people don't really care about the journey. We think people don't really care about like, oh, how did you get ready in the morning? Or how, what was your morning routine? It's like, people care. People don't want to just see you go, if I just said, in 2015, I was college for interior design, and here I am today, and I've built this whole company, 95 Media, we have a team. It's like, well, that means nothing to me, because I don't know what you went through. I don't know how you got here. So that story is really, really important when you're speaking about the transformation.
And we have to get rid of this whole overnight success thing. I heard somebody else say the other day, I'm an overnight success. I'm a 12-year overnight success.
Yeah.
It took me 12 years to get here, but you're just noticing my success now because this is the image that you had of me. Now I'm here. It took me 12 years to get there. Now that obviously that's not everybody's story, but it's so true. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Only when you say, I loved how she's like, I'm a 12-year overnight success. There's no such thing as overnight. It takes time. The middle, can't ignore the middle.
I love it. It's so important. It really is, no matter what industry you're in.
Agreed. Okay. We got our first pillar is educational, in that we're also validating, showing that transformation, showing the middle.
Education is one, validating is two.
Oh, okay.
And then the third is vulnerability.
Okay.
And that's the one that scares everyone.
What do you mean? Vulnerability sounds so not scary.
We wake up and want to be vulnerable every day. No, vulnerability is the one that makes people not want to show up. It intimidates us. It makes you not want to even get on video. It's what I hear from so many clients are like, well, I just don't want to get on video. Like my hair and makeup isn't done and I don't have enough to talk about. I'm scared to go live. And vulnerability is the pillar that allows people to get to know you.
Yeah.
And if you're not the face of the brand, it allows people to get to know the story of the brand because it puts a highlight on you. And vulnerability content is, again, much more focused on you and the brand versus validating, which is focused on the consumer, the reader, the audience. And so when you're being vulnerable, what that really does is it builds the know, the like, and the trust that leads people to becoming a paying client.
Right.
And vulnerability, I don't think it has to be as scary as it sounds. Sure. Vulnerability comes in different levels and different volumes. And for some people, being vulnerable is recording a reel where they're lip syncing something to a trending sound. And for others, it's going live and talking about a traumatic experience that led them to starting their business, for example. Sure. And so when you dip your toes in, you start getting more comfortable doing the little things and you can build bigger. But we've seen such transformation in our own clients where we're working with a client now who runs a family-owned like event decor and setup. So they do a lot of weddings and galas and things like that. And they've been family-owned for 30 years. And their daughter, who is our client, is, around 30 years old. She just signed to take over the company. And they're very big in their local community, but they had never posted anything to social about their family, about her taking over the company, about their history. And the first time we posted, within the first month, I was like, we're doing this. Like, tell us the story. We're turning this into content. Right. The first post we posted about that, it blew up.
Because of course people, it did.
Like it's like it really is such a duh moment. But for so many people who don't look at it the way that we look at it, it's intimidating. And you might think, well, why would people care about it? I tell them in person. I don't need to post to social. It might come off as bragging. It might come off as showy and salesy, and no one wants to showcase themselves in that way. But at the end of the day, what vulnerable content really does is it just builds that relationship on a deeper level.
It just shows that you're human, that there's human people behind the business. And you made such a good point, but also explaining that too. I think somebody would hear, and including myself, I would hear vulnerable content and you immediately think, I have to get on my stories and cry.
Yeah.
Like I have to show tears. I have to show that is vulnerable, obviously, to bare your soul, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. We're talking about a little bit of the personal touches and getting out of the comfort zone and trying something new. It's making yourself vulnerable to that. But I think the biggest thing is it's human connection. It's the humanizing of it. And I love that post went so well. I mean, again, I'm not surprised because the more we know about a business and an organization, like, I want to give my money to that. And I feel like that's why nonprofits and fundraising does so well because they're so story-based. Why can't businesses be the exact same? Why is there like that disconnect? Okay. So I'm so curious how then, for example, let's take like a custom pillar that maybe one of your clients has, and how we can then integrate the educational, the validation, and then the vulnerable content pillars. Like, how do we then integrate that into our custom pillars?
Love it. Yeah. So let's use the same client that I was just talking about who does event decor and setup. So they sell, just to kind of paint the picture, they sell, you can rent, they don't sell, you can rent tents, tables, decor, bar setup, chairs, utensils, all of the things to create like a stunning, beautiful, custom looking wedding. So a lot of their audience are young brides. They're in their 20s and 30s. They're getting married. And so if we look at one of their custom pillars is their installations. So we'll post UGC, we'll post beautiful photography from the weddings that they are a part of. And so how could we apply education? We could apply education by saying, here are the 3 ways to create your perfect, like boho chic wedding. This is the tent you need, this is the chairs you'll need, and this is like the table runner that would be perfect. Put them together, and then this is the type of wedding that you'll see and experience.
Love that.
By doing validating content, you could say, hey, I know you're overwhelmed by how expensive your wedding is. We get it. We actually are really transparent in our pricing. Our website is different than anyone else in the area because we have pricing on our website so that you can actually work out your budget before you get to us. And when you then inquire, you know exactly what you're going to be paying before coming to us. And that sets us apart.
So good. That is so good. I'm just thinking back to the time planning my own wedding and being like, can you just tell me? I don't want to get attached to what you have going on and then end up doing it because now I'm emotionally involved. That is so good. Validating, empathizing, so good.
And then vulnerable, you could talk about your own wedding. You could say, you know, when I was going through this is the kind of wedding I had, share wedding photos from that time in your life. You could talk about obviously building the business, or you could share a story about one of your clients that you've had who maybe didn't have a great experience working with someone else, or there's so many ways. I'm having like a million ideas come to mind right now. But, you know, when you're the owner and when you represent the brand, especially the way that they do, where they're a very community-based company, she has such a great relationship with her audience, and there's a lot of storytelling that can happen there. And so I think it's a lot easier than we might think it could be.
Don't you love how we just like overcomplicate all the things?
I know.
We really do. And recently, I'm so interested too, like how I say content types, and what I'm speaking to specifically is the type of content being, is it a video or a photo or a carousel? With now these overarching, would you call them just like overarching that can then integrate into your custom pillars? Is that really kind of like how you describe it? Okay. So I would see carousels as just educational. That was how I would see them. But now I'm like completely eyes opened to a whole new world. I'm just going to like break onto song. Can we like give an example of the carousel we would do for this validation? Or I even like that this is what my wedding looked like. This is what we did. And this is where I was. And now we're completely new. I mean, there's just like, it's completely opening my eyes to a different way of doing these content types it's not just educational. And I always saw carousels as educational because it was just like a little slideshow. And now it can be validation. And I'm loving this. Emma, this is so good. I'm loving and living all of this.
It's so true because I mean, I saw the same thing for so long. Carousels were just educational. Yeah. And so I can give examples for how we do it in our own business. Like a lot of our content is it's not personal. Like I'm the face of the brand, but I don't get very personal in the brand. And one post that we do monthly now, because we did it one time. I think the first time we did it was in October of 2022, and it like did amazing. And so we sat down and said, okay, let's try this again next month. And it continues to do well. I do a monthly photo dump of like my personal life, because I don't do a lot of personal exposure, but I take every sales call. I'm the face of the brand. People at first glance hire 95 Media with me in mind. And then of course they get to work with my incredible team. And they don't only work with me, but by giving that glimpse into my life, and also the team, like last month, for example, 2 of the girls on my team met in person, and I was so excited. And like, that was just, it was amazing. And so that was a part of our monthly photo dump as well. And then, you know, in the caption, I'm like, you know, photo 1, this is what's happening. And photo 2, you know, and then you can give that vulnerable take into your life. Am I being super vulnerable? Am I crying? No, but it's, you know, I went on this personal trip this month, and we had this amazing accomplishment here, and the things you don't always talk about. And then for validating content, we do a different monthly kind of rotation of posts where we do, and it has blown up. It's like our top performing post every month. We do tweets that validate the experience of other social media managers. And we pull them from Twitter, and it's, you know, like, it's just funny references, usually like pop culture references, or talking about Canva being down, or, you know, making it the 5th copy of the same file inside of Canva that we have to rename for the 10th time. And it's just, you know, these common experiences that we have. Do they speak to my client? No. Do they sell for us? No. But they make our brand real, and they create this experience and community at the end of the day that integrates those different overarching pillars.
Oh, that's so good. I would actually beg to argue that it is a part of this sales journey. It's just not going to be I saw the photo dump, now I'm going to book you, right? Exactly. That's not the typical buyer's journey. Although maybe for some, in like the rare occasion it is, but it really is a part of that buyer's journey of connecting better with you. And that's why I love this conversation so much, because it validates It validates even what I fully believe, that being the face of your, not even being the face of your brand, but humanizing your brand in a way that obviously makes sense and what you would want to do. Cause you don't necessarily, you don't have to get on there and be crying your eyes out for it to be vulnerable content or for it to be effective content, I would say. But the humanizing part is really what I think is coming to the forefront. It definitely did in the last couple of years since the pandemic, because I think it really, that whole 2 years, people just reevaluated what was important. And a lot of people, I would confidently say, it's people, it's your relationships, it's your it's human connection. And I think brands got the hint. I mean, I think we all as business owners, I'm a pandemic business, so I actually started in 2020. So that was kind of my wonderful pivoting moment. But the humanizing part, people want to buy from people. They want to also support people. And it's such an important aspect that it's only going to get, I say trendy, but I mean, it's only going to come to the forefront.
And I think it has to do with Gen Z becoming the new consumer too.
Yes.
Because what we're talking about, what you just touched on, is how TikTok took off. TikTok is that raw content. TikTok is where you go if you want to be crying on screen and showing up with no makeup and being like, I just got dumped, and talk about your breakup story. You know what I mean? Like, that is where you get super vulnerable.
Right.
And that platform took off because that's exactly what Gen Z wants to see. And if you're a smart brand right now, you're trying to target Gen Z because they are your consumer for over the next 5 years. Right. Whether you think that they're not starting business, like Gen Z is starting businesses in their teens. They don't no longer waiting until they're 25, 30 to start a business. Right. Whatever you do, you should be targeting Gen Z. And that is exactly what they want to see. They need that human connection. They're like BS radar is off the charts. They're going to see through it. And so it's really important to be human, show up in that way. And even if you're a big brand, we even see it with like Delta or Nike or, any Tarte, right? With the big trip that just happened, they're humanizing their brand because they know they have to. And when you see trends like that take off with those mega brands, it's something that we need to take note of and start integrating for, maybe us smaller brands as well, because that's what's going to help you get to the bigger level.
1000%. The only thing I'm bitter about with Gen Z is how freaking cute they are. And they just like skipped this whole awkward, my foundation is darker than my actual face is, the blue eyeshadow that we millennials. Yeah. I'm so bitter about it. It's not fair. Like, it made us stronger. It made us who we are today. And here these cute little Gen Zers come out with their cute posing things. Like I'm acting behind the camera. But they're just so dang cute. But you are so on the money with it. The minute that you underestimate Gen Z, or you undervalue them, or you just completely ignore them, at some point, yes, as Gen Xers, millennials, and I don't even know what that generation in between Gen Z and millennial, it's like a little middle, whatever. As we start to build our businesses, who we're going to hire are Gen Zs. The more you're ignoring them and being like, whatever, it's just a fad. The whole generation is not a fad. They're changing. Yes, we might have been the earliest adopters of technology, and being a part of this culture where we're getting married later, having babies later, we're focusing on our careers. Maybe that is a millennial generation type of thing, but the generation after us, this Gen Z, like, they're powerful, cute. They're powerful people to not underestimate, for sure. I love that you said that.
It's so funny because I feel like every generation hates on the one below them for a little while, until you get to the point where you're like, okay, we can't really ignore this anymore. This is happening. And I think that we are kind of at that point where we have to accept it, especially as business owners who are looking to hire Gen Z talent. My entire team is Gen Z, or your clients are Gen Z, or they're going to be in the next 5 years. You really have to open your eyes to that and say, okay, we need to adjust the way that we're marketing ourselves to attract those people and that sale as well.
Absolutely. So this, as we're kind of wrapping up, this 3 content pillar, I really just love that this is something newer that I wish I would have known so much sooner. It's just such good information. So it's totally meant to be that we were in the same Facebook group, and I was like, hey, Emma, let's podcast together. When was this I love like peeking behind the curtain of the actual entrepreneur. And when you have kind of those like aha moments, like this is the piece that's missing, like the thing that you saw that nobody else did. When did this framework kind of come to light for you? And when did you really start fine tuning, harnessing, and then putting it into practice?
I love that question. I actually think that this framework was one of the very first things that I kind of put together in our business, because I hired before everyone thought I was crazy to be hiring. Like I was not paying myself, but I was in a position where like I couldn't do things while I was working full time. I had to have someone support me. Totally. So it was, I didn't have systems. Everything was living in my brain. So the least I could do was say, these are the 3 pillars. We need to be rotating through them. Here you go, run with it. Like, this is it. And so this was something I probably created back in 2017. Okay. And, it's something that we continue to develop and build out in different and new ways. Today, we have the 95 media method, which is like our 4-part system that we go through with each client. But
let me see if I can remember this, because I literally just heard it today. I heard it today, friends, family that are listening, and my sweet little pregnancy brain is like, no, I know that there's strategy in there and there's execution. Those 2 and 3.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you got the middle.
I got the middle because I'm paying attention to the middle. Paying attention to the cream inside the Okay, give us the 4-part real quick, but this is just a teaser for you guys to go listen to that other podcast that she has. Literally, I think episode 2, right?
I think so.
The 95 method.
Yeah.
4-part method is.
So it's goals, strategy, execution, data. And that is a system that anyone can apply to their business, but it's something that we go really in depth with every client that we work with, because it allows us to say, okay, what is that end goal? How do we work backwards, build a strategy that will get us there, execute it, adjust along the way, and then look at the data for information on how to move forward.
Which, love me some good data. Are you a total data nerd?
Yes.
Like I get so excited with data, and people are like, Mandy, really? Really? Are you kidding me? You said, I think you said it too, of like, we have so much more access to data than we did before. And it just makes your execution, even like adjusting your strategy, a no-brainer, because everything else was, think this is working. And now it's like, no, this actually isn't working. Let's adjust.
It's so funny to me though, that so many business owners don't look at the data. It kills me. Before you work with the social media manager, so often I hear like, oh yeah, I know the information's there, but like, I didn't look at it the past 12 months. And we go in and we're like, wow, this content's doing really great. Or you're keeping posting this one thing that's bombing. Like, why are you still posting this? And they just don't know because they're not looking at the numbers. So that's your reminder to look at numbers today.
I love that. That's so good. Emma, this has been such a good conversation. Thank you so much for your time today. But before we wrap up, please share about your freebie, your free course that you have, but also how people can connect with you and potentially work with you.
Yes. So our website is 95media.co. I'm most active on Instagram, which is spelled out 90.5.media. And we do have a free course. It's called Master Your Marketing. It will teach you how to create content that converts in under 30 minutes a day. It is a really great course. It's completely free. And we also have our podcast, the Stop Scrolling, Start Scaling podcast, that we produce an episode every week. And there's a ton of amazing tips and great guests on there as well for additional resources.
Perfect. Okay, but I have to know, where did 95 come from?
I was born in 1995.
Oh my gosh, I should have put that together.
It was the biggest struggle to name our company, and I was just like, it's there. We'll use it.
I like it. It sounds so like elevated, but also like chic and like total future. I like it. Are you technically that little in between of millennial and Gen Z?
I'm like the butt end of millennial. We're just holding on for dear life.
I know. I'm 88. So honestly, I feel like I have a good mixture of my Gen Xers, but also I had my very first assistant was Gen Z, and I feel like she kept me young for sure.
Yes.
And then people like that I sing with at church, they're a good chunk of them are Gen Zers. And I'm like, what's the word? What are we saying? What's trendy?
It's new every week. Yeah.
I don't know what I think it's per right now.
I don't know.
Per. And I was like, is that short for perfect? And they're like, no. Like, well, what does it mean then? Something that's really good. So perfect. Is that what you mean? Keeping us young. Okay. Love it. Emma, thank you so much for joining. I've loved this conversation, and I know that our listeners will as well. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.